All right. All right. I started the recording. We had a round robin, talked about whether we thought we should record or not record, and there are several neutral opinions and a couple that expressed it would be good to review. We can review our own progress, and it will make the meeting available to people who are not here at the moment. Here comes Jeremy. Let me admit him from the waiting room. All right. So we've already read our club mission statement. We've had a little bit of discussion. So let me, as Toastmaster of the day, welcome our member, Jeremy Hill. Jeremy, we're recording today. So we're going to jump right into our agenda. Our agenda is full. Today we have Jeremy as our word of the day. Our prepared speaker is Jelena Verkler, Toastmaster Jelena. Our table topics master for the first time is Toastmaster Theodore Manning. So we're looking forward to hearing what Theodore has come up for us today. Our evaluator is Distinguished Toastmaster Hesse Johnson. I know it looks like it's Hissy, but it's actually pronounced Hesse. And then we'll go into our evaluation portion of the meeting with Jelena Verkler serving as our general evaluator, Theo as our timer, and Rika as our grammarian. So let us get into the meat of the club. And we'll go on to word of the day featuring Toastmaster Jeremy Hill.
Thank you, Toastmaster Baird, and hello, distinguished guests. So the word of the day is going to be paragon. I'm going to simply put it in the chat, and then I will expound more on the meaning of this word. And the word is paragon. Okay? And as follows. And the word paragon is a noun. It means a person or thing regarded as a perfect example of a particular quality, a person of excellence. And to use it in an example, when she gave her speech, she really represented as a paragon of speaking. All right, and I turn this meeting back over to Toastmaster Baird.
Thank you. I like the way you did that, Jeremy. The speaker always needs to return control of the meeting to whoever is running that portion of the meeting. That's what part of our training in Toastmasters. If we were in person, it would be exactly the same as somebody standing at the lectern. You never leave the lectern empty. You stand there and wait for the host to come back, shake their hand, a handoff, and that's how we conduct a professional meeting. Good job. I might say you are a paragon of meeting etiquette. So thank you for that, Jeremy.
I'm delighted.
Wonderful. All right, we're moving on into the speaking portion of our meeting. Now, our first speaker, our first prepared speaker and only speaker today is Jelena, and she'll be talking to us about how to set and achieve goals in a way that's realistic and sustainable. She's going to share some simple strategies to break down big goals into small, manageable steps and why it's important to be kind to yourself along the way. Now, she is speaking to us from the Writing Speeches with a Purpose project on her motivational strategies pathway. So in this speech, we're going to be looking for her to communicate a purpose. So I'm looking for a big takeaway from this speech. This will be a 5 to 7 minute speech. And Jelena reminds us that by the end of the speech, you'll have a clear roadmap to reach your goals with confidence. Wow, that sounds great to me. Let's welcome her as she has time to present her speech entitled Tiny Goals, Big Wins, A Path to Achieving What Matters.
Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for being here today. Now, I'm no paragon of goal setting, but I have found a few tips and tricks over the years that I'd like to share with you today. Quick question. How many of us have made a New Year's resolution and then totally abandoned it by February? Yeah, same. Most of us, we don't have a problem with dreaming big. The problem is staying consistent. We set these huge, sweeping goals like, I'm going to completely change my lifestyle. Or this is it. This is the year I finally get it all together. And then we get overwhelmed or burned out. We try to change everything at once, or we commit for a whole year without stopping to ask, is this even working for me? The truth is, when it comes to achieving goals, smaller is smarter. Instead of trying to completely overhaul your life, try picking one small thing. Something that fits easily into your daily routine. Something so simple, it almost feels too easy. But that's the point. Consistency builds confidence. Don't say, I'm going to start eating clean. Say, I'm going to add 2 servings of vegetables to my plate every day. And don't say, I'm going to work out and lose 30 pounds. Say, I'm going to commit to taking a 15-minute walk every day on my lunch break. Keep it small, keep it specific, and most importantly, keep it sustainable. One trick I've found really helpful in setting goals is using short intervals. I don't commit to a goal for a whole year, I commit for a month. This gives me time to try it, see how it fits into my life, and then reassess. Did I enjoy it? Did it work with my schedule? Is it something I can keep up with long term? And if it is, great, keep going. But if it's not, well, that's okay too. You didn't fail, you just learned something about yourself. And along the way, remember to give yourself grace. Progress isn't always a straight line. Some days won't go as planned. You might miss a few days, lose your momentum, or hit a rough patch. But that doesn't mean you're off track for good. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just because things got off track. Try to see each day as a fresh start. No, you can't undo what happened yesterday, but you can choose what you do today. And that choice is where your power is. Another tip, set yourself up for success before you even begin working toward a goal. One of the best ways I've found to do this is by journaling and asking myself key questions like, what would help me achieve this? What might get in the way? And what am I really hoping to gain from this? Getting clear on those things gives me direction and motivation. This year, I decided that I wanted to cut down on my consumption. But that's a pretty big, vague goal. So I instead broke it down into monthly challenges. In January, I committed to no eating out or ordering in. To set myself up for success, I stocked the house with groceries and some quick meals like frozen pizza for the nights I knew I'd be too tired to cook. I took photos of each meal I made, I savored every bite, and I really soaked in the pride of creating something myself. And by the end of the month, I had saved money, improved my cooking skills, and realized I could make better food than most restaurants. In February, I took on no Amazon orders. I know, bold move. Considering how many packages some of us get, I expected this to be tough. But it was actually surprisingly easy. I realized that so many of my purchases were just impulsive. And if I waited a day before buying something, most of the time, I didn't even want it anymore. That goal helped me detach from my need to constantly consume. And guess what? I kept going with the no food delivery too, because it had become a habit that felt good. Then in March, I challenged myself to not drink from anything from a non reusable container. That's right. No Diet Cokes, no canned energy drinks, nothing. And let me tell you, this one was hard. I realized that by the end of the day, that little treat was the only thing keeping me emotionally afloat. And hey, that's okay. Not every goal will work for you. The important thing is to not beat yourself up when it doesn't. Just like you'd never call a friend a failure for trying something new and realizing it wasn't for them, don't talk to yourself that way either. Be gentle, be kind. That's part of the process. It's also okay to let go of a goal when it no longer serves you. I used to set these really ambitious reading goals every year until I realized I was just stressing myself out trying to meet a number. It was taking the joy out of reading. So I stopped. And guess what? I enjoy books a lot more now. And finally, celebrate your wins. When you finish a goal, don't just move on to the next thing. Take a moment to reflect. Think about how far you've come since you started. Acknowledge your growth and be proud of yourself. And if you want, yeah, reward yourself. A little positive reinforcement goes a long way. So remember, keep your goals small and specific. Set yourself up for success before you begin. Be kind and flexible with yourself and celebrate your progress, not just the outcome. Because real change doesn't come from perfection, it comes from persistence. You are capable, you are resilient, and your goals, whatever they are absolutely within reach. Even if the path forward isn't perfect, keep showing up. One small step at a time can really change your life. Thank you, and keep going. You've got this.
Wow, Jelena, so much great information. Wow, very motivational. Thank you. Now let me pause. We will give 1 minute for our evaluator to collect her thoughts. And let me start timing that now. While the evaluator is collecting her thoughts, everyone else, feel free to send Jelena some direct feedback in the chat. All right, 1 minute has passed. So now we will move forward to the next part of our agenda, which is the table topics where we practice impromptu speaking. So we'll go on to our very first time table topics master, Theo Manning. So Theo, if you have a theme for the day, please tell us what it is, and I will do the timing of the people who you select to answer the questions today.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Merit. Today, some of the questions I was thinking about as summer is approaching, just some summer themed questions. I know today in Michigan is not that good of a day in terms of weather, uh, with the clouds and everything and raining. But just some summer questions and how we begin our summers. Does anyone want to volunteer for the first question?
Well,
This is Sandra. I will.
go ahead, go with Sandra because she may have to leave
Okay.
soon.
Okay, Sandra. My first question is, if money and time were no object, where would you go on your dream vacation?
If money and time were no option, where would I go on my dream vacation? First of all, one of the things that I'm enjoying is learning how to play golf. And as we all know, golf can become a very expensive hobby. And I also like to travel, which is also another expensive hobby. So if money and was no option, I would take some golf trips all over, first of all, the US, at these really nice golf courses that will allow me to not only improve my game, but also to see the beauty of golf courses. And then I would also take some international trips and play golf in very nice locations such as Australia or Europe, Spain, for the most part in Europe, or England. I know they have really nice golf courses. And that's kind of how I would handle my my time if money was no option. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sandra. Thank you for that beautiful answer. I'm not much of a golfer. I would like to try, but that's awesome. The next question, do we have any volunteers? Or I can, Jeremy. Okay. My next question for you, Jeremy, Toastmaster Jeremy, is what is your favorite summer read and why?
Thank you, Table Topics Toastmaster Theo. My favorite summer read. I hear this question as read that's speaking on the behalf of books. So I will answer this question based on a book. And it's actually a book that I'm reading right now that has not yet been finished as we have started the summer. It's by Dr. Miles Monroe, and it's called Rediscovering the Kingdom. And the book displays two parallels from two realities of an unseen and a seen realm. And a lot of truths that are in the Bible are so relatable and they correlate to what you can't see to explain the secrets and the mystery of what is unseen by the proof and the evidence of what is tangible. So everything is plausible when hearing about this book. And it talks about how a kingdom and the makeup and the genetics of this kingdom and where this kingdom came from and the existence of all humanity and where we came from. It dives into some of the long asked questions of human beings and the things that we would like to figure out, but we wonder in our silence while we're alone in secret that these secrets could be unveiled one day, like a man kissing his bride. So to rediscover something is to have it for yourself. And my question is, do you know what a kingdom is? Growing up in a democracy and with all of the other forms of government? So that's my question is, do you know what a kingdom is? And that's my favorite book is Rediscovering the Kingdom by Dr. Miles Monroe. And I turn it back over to Table Topics Master or Toastmaster Theo.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jeremy. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. I want to check out that book now and gain some insight on that. That's awesome. I have a couple more questions, but I don't know if we have time, but I have
We
a
have
couple more.
we have time for
Right.
however many questions you have. It's only
Okay.
12:25.
Okay. Anyone would like to volunteer next? Okay.
I'll take a question, Hesse. I'll take a question.
Okay. My next question is, what do you do to relax?
I do several things to relax, and I believe in relaxing. I say this because there was a time in my life when I didn't. I believe in going 48 hours, like the Energizing Bunny. And I was in a lot of different organizations, and I did a lot with my job. I was manager at my job, and I participated in a lot of things. And it took different things to happen in my life to make me decide I must stop, I must say no, and I must rest. So when it comes to relaxation, I love to read. I love movies. I love a good conversation with someone who's intelligent on the phone and wants to talk about not so much political things, but just what life would be like in another dimension and what we can do for change. I believe in inspirational conversations, and I have multiple conversations early in the morning. I start my mornings between 5:30 and 6 with some of my friends in Atlanta, even to today, until this morning. But I have learned to tune out the world. Wednesdays used to be, for a number of years, my rest day where I did not do anything. Only thing I did was eat, go shopping, maybe go to the movies, go bowling. But I did whatever it was I wanted to do. If I didn't, I always had a dog, so I never had the luxury of just laying in bed all day. But since I've been here and joined this club, I have to redesign my Wednesdays because I know we have Wednesday mornings at 12. We have Toastmaster meeting. But my relaxation is a nice cocktail when I decide that I want. Read a good book, listen to some music. I had Isley Brothers on this morning. And meditating. Meditating for me is really important. It's my salvation. And I talk to God. I tell him everything. My daughters are deceased. I talk to them just like they're here. I have an oversized picture of them on the wall, and I swear their eyes are moving sometime in my mind. So when you ask me, what do I do for relaxation or what do, I take it easy. I drive the slow lane. I don't get on the expressway. I was out yesterday. Most of the day, I took my dog. My dog doesn't walk. My dog rides. And we took our time. And I say this for the ones that are younger. You will learn. Slow down and rest. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hesse, for that. I know we all need to learn how to relax and find those niches that will help us. So I'm learning that every day right now, especially with two little ones and my wife. So and the dogs. Trying to figure that out too myself. So thank you for that. I do have one more question. Would anybody like to valid? Oh, Toastmaster Jillian, got you. So my last question, just to follow back on what Toastmaster Hissy said. If you could live in any book or movie universe, which would you choose and why?
This is a very interesting question, and it's hard for me to answer because I am such an avid reader. I've explored so many universes and so many different characters and so many different settings. I think off the top of my head, if I'm forced to choose, I might just say Harry Potter. That was my childhood. I reread those books over and over again. If I finished, I would simply start back in the beginning. I loved the Harry Potter universe. I loved the idea of magical beings, of being able to cast spells and learn potions. I'm entranced by the idea of a magical world. And there's probably quite a few different magical worlds that I could be part of, but I just don't think that I can beat the nostalgia. I have so many good memories of Harry Potter going to the book releases, going to the midnight premieres of the new movies with my sister. It was something that we bonded over and did together. And so I think if I would go into the Harry Potter universe, I'd have to bring her with me because it's something that we've always done together and something that I really enjoy. And so I think I would have to choose the Harry Potter universe.
Thank you, Toastmaster Juliana, for that. I recently started watching all of the movies, my wife and I, so that's been we try to binge something every month, and that was our thing that we binged and watched all the movies and was very because we didn't watch them as kids, so we had to wait till we were adults just because of our upbringing and everything. But definitely something I I I like that world is definitely something I missed in my childhood. So, uh, thank you for answering all of my questions during our table topics section of our meeting. Thank you all, and I'm going to turn the remainder of the meeting back over to our head Toastmaster, Bear.
Thank you. And applause to Theo for his first turnaround as Table Topics Master. Theo, isn't it more fun to ask the questions than it is to answer them?
Yes.
Yeah, I love being the Table Topics Master too. All right, and now we're going to go into the evaluation portion of our meeting. This is the key element. How many times have you ever been to a class? You've taken a class or a seminar, you get a lot of information, but you don't get feedback. That's what makes Toastmasters great. We're going to get some feedback now. And so I'm going to invite our general evaluator to take over this portion of the meeting, Toastmaster Jelena Bergler.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. As general evaluator, my role is to assess the overall meeting, its structure, its timing, how smoothly the roles were performed. But I also get the pleasure of introducing our evaluation team. So our speech evaluator today is Hessie Johnson, and she will be evaluating speaker number 1, which was me. Our all-counter grammarian is Rika, and our timer is Theo, but I believe this will also be tag teamed by Karen, who so kindly stepped in to time the table topics. So to begin, let's start with our evaluator, Hessie.
Toastmaster Zelina. Well, I can't give you too many negatives because you're wearing multiple hats. So I'm only going to start with one. That's the sunlight coming from your window. It's kind of casting a shadow. And it makes us kind of think that you have an aura around you. And I say, yes, you do, because you have a good spirit. You gave us some good examples of how you monitor your goals. You also encouraged us by the results of your personal goals. So that part was excellent because you drew us in with your personal story, which all of us should know. Maybe you don't know. I don't know. It might be some perfect people here. But most of us have set goals and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wash the car, cut the grass. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to the doctor. And we don't stay on that path. We get distracted. So I like the fact that you gave us some ways of staying with our goals, but not punishing ourselves if we don't. I like the way that you encouraged us to be flexible. Because in this world, we're moving fast. Everything is popping. And sometimes we don't forgive ourselves. And when we are flexible, modern word, we are forgiving ourselves. And I really like that. I also like that you used the word persistent in when you were talking, because that's what we have to tell ourselves as we get up every morning. Be persistent in our goals, but don't punish ourselves if we fail. Overall, I thought your speech was excellent. I thought that on some of your words, you could have been a little stronger, where you're saying be determined, be kind to yourself, kind of put a little strength to that, because you were actually giving us resources, and you was giving us resources. One of your comments said that you was a paragon, or asked you if you was a paragon. Well, I'm going to close with you are a paragon.
Thank you, Essie, for that thoughtful feedback. I'm always encouraged when I'm given something to work on. So in my next speech, I'm really going to focus on putting emphasis on certain words that I really want to hit hard. So thank you a lot for that thoughtful feedback. Next, we will move on to our all-counter grammarian, Rika. Rika, could you give us your report?
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Yelena. Okay, for the owl counter role. So greetings to Karen Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. So during this meeting, I have been listening for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and also, you know. I also have been listening for filler sounds, including and I also have been noting when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as this means, and that I haven't seen. But moving on, at the end of the meeting, so as I'm doing this now, I'm reporting the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. And as a grammarian, which is part of my responsibility, I'm paying close attention to all speakers, listening carefully in language use. And so anything that may be improper language or something outstanding, such as words, quotes, sayings, etc. So thank you. That's my thank you, Yelena Toastmaster. So at this point, I just want to make sure I'm going through and reporting on my evaluation. Is that correct? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. So for the word of the day, and that was Jeremy in introducing the word of the day. Everything was fine. For Yelena, again, I did not count any word fillers or pauses. So 100% there. For table topics, there was just a little bit over 5 Oz for Theo, Sandra, Jeremy, Hesse, Yelena. You got 100%. There were no Oz word fillers and so forth. Evaluation number 1 for Hesse Johnson on Yelena. Same thing. I did not note any fillers or crutches. And for word of the day, using word of the day, that also was fine by Karen. Karen used it, and a couple of other people. I'm sorry, I didn't note their names. And Yelena, for explaining the evaluation process, again, you did great. So thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'll send it back to the next person in line to evaluate.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rika. So now we will move on to our timers report. Is there one of you that wants to go first? Theo, why don't you share that with us?
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Toastmaster Jelena. For your speech, the speech was aimed for 5 to 7 minutes. Your speech was actually 6 minutes and 40 seconds, so you're good time. Good time. And for the evaluation, I believe it's 3 minutes. Toastmaster Hesse, you are at 2 minutes and 44 seconds for your evaluation of the speaker. So get there. And Toastmaster Rika, for your evaluation, general evaluation, you're at 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So you're good. I will pass it over to Headmaster Karen for the remainder of the table topics timing.
Thank you. Table topics are ideally 1 to 2 minutes. Sandra spoke. Oh, Sandra's gone, but I'll report that she spoke on golf for 1 minute and 10 seconds. Good job. Jeremy on summer read. You spoke for 1 minute 45 seconds, but you packed so much in there it felt like longer. So good job. Hesse spoke about ways that you relax. Well, you had 3 minutes and 12 seconds of ways that you relax, but I was right in there with you on every one of them. So good job. Jelena, to live in a book universe of Harry Potter, you spoke for 1 minute and 19 seconds. So good job, everyone. I return control now to our evaluation master, Jelena.
Thank you. I will now give my general evaluation of the whole meeting. So today the meeting started a couple minutes late, but we did only have one speaker, so we had some extra time baked into the agenda. The mission statement was read, and I like that Karen gave us that extra reminder of just why we recite our mission statement to reaffirm our commitment to growth and learning and providing that supportive environment. I also liked that Karen named everyone filling the roles, so there was no confusion to start, and that everyone jumped in and filled these roles so that we could begin our meeting on time. I like that you give 1 minute for the evaluator to collect their thoughts. I have been in meetings before where you're expected to just speak right away, and that's a little much, but it is kind of like awkward in that 1 minute. So I'm wondering if there's something else you can do to fill this time, maybe have a little discussion. But I also really like that you encourage everyone to give direct feedback. And I even had one person use the word of the day in their feedback. I think it makes sure that everyone is engaged and thinking of feedback even when they're not the evaluator, and really, again, affirms that commitment to our mission statement. I love the theme for table topics, and I thought they were really engaging questions and followed by well-structured answers. And I appreciated that Theo was respectful and checked in with the time on the agenda. And shout out to him for his first time taking on this role. He was amazing. Hesse gave very thoughtful and helpful feedback and actually gave the speakers something to work on in the next speech, which is so important. There were several uses of word of the day, very limited use of fillers, and we met the timing goals. So overall, this was a great meeting, and I would encourage everyone to just keep bringing this positive energy. It's really powerful and engaging. With that, I will return to the Toastmaster of the day, Karen Baird.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, I have some things that I want to unpack for today. First, let us discuss, last time we met, we had an open house. We had multiple guests. I thought it was a great open house, really. We had a wonderful speaker. We had a lot of guests. We had great energy. We had guests who were there just to support us from other clubs. And we had guests who expressed interest in joining our club. Now, do you see those guests here today? No, we do not. So I reached out to those guests by email. If the guests who came were guests that you invited, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to those guests and ask them if they would come back and visit us again or join the club. One of the things that keeps a Toastmaster club to be a really exciting, focused place is to always have fresh blood, new people coming in, because we always have attrition. Some people don't come back, but we also need that influx of fresh ideas, fresh energy. It's exciting to see somebody give their icebreaker speech. And if you'll give me a moment, I'm going to share our distinguished club. Let me share that. I wanted to share our distinguished club points. I know I have a lot of things open here. There we go. I just want to make sure. Okay, innovative orators. Good, I've had the right club pulled up here. As you can see, we have 4 check marks for goals that we've met for our distinguished club program. We need 5 points to be considered distinguished. The easiest way we can get that extra point would be to have somebody complete a level 4 or level 5 and have them attribute that to this club. Now, I believe we have 2 people here right now who could do that, but it's an option. They don't have to do it for this club because we are both members of multiple clubs. So I'll ask Jelena, you're ready to complete a 4 or a 5. I'm not sure which one. I think it's a 4. Are you going to attribute that to this club, do you think, or do you think you'll attribute to the MetroMasters?
I can do either.
Well, I think at least one of us should attribute it to this club, because then we'll have our 5 points. We will become a distinguished club. Do you know how exciting that is for this club? We'll go from being a club who at the beginning of the club year was on probation to being a club that received a mentor, I should say, a coach, a club that has increased membership and is now hit enough of the key points of quality to become distinguished. So congrats to all of us. I think this club is really on an upward swing, so I'm very happy about that. Now, I want to draw your attention to one other thing, and this is very important: membership. So you'll see that our base is 8. To date, we have 10, and it's required to have 11 members. That means we need to gain 1 new member before the end of June in order for our club to be recognized as distinguished. So it doesn't matter how many points we hit. If we don't have enough members, we're not going to get that distinguished club recognition. So let's all think about somebody we could invite or encourage to join our club. We need 1 more member to join before the end of June, and then we will become the distinguished club. Of course, it would be great if we could get more than 1 person to join, but if we get at least 1 person to join, we'll reach that distinction, and that will be a real accomplishment for us as a club this year. I don't know about you, but I think this club has made great strides. I'm excited about where we've been and where we're going. I think we're on the right track. I love the energy. I love what I'm seeing people make progress in this club. And that brings me to the future. What can we look for in the future for this club? I had a couple of ideas that I wanted to run by you. First, our club, as we say, we've gone from having very low membership at the beginning of the year. We had very low membership to now we have almost 11. We're 1 person shy of having 11 people. So that means that we have fresh people. We need new officers. If you've not been an officer in this club or any club, I'm going to suggest to you that you think about it, because we need to have our new officers installed before the end of June. Again, the end of the club year. So since nobody has volunteered to become officers, you know what that means. It's time for direct phone calls. So that means don't be surprised if you get a phone call asking you if you would be an officer of this club. So, you know, I used to be shy about asking people to commit to things until I started at Toastmasters. I was so shy. I didn't want to ask people to pay their dues. I didn't want to ask people to join the club. I didn't want to ask people to become officers. But guess what Toastmasters did for me? It gave me that confidence, and now I'm ready to pass that confidence on to you to help build it in you so that you can also have the experience of leadership and build that confidence and be an officer of the club. You know, we don't expect perfection. It's showing up and giving any effort you give it all, man, that's better than none. And that's what we're looking for. Growth. Stick your foot in that little kiddie pool. You won't drown. Water's only a few inches deep. Just stick your foot in the pool, and eventually you'll be swimming out to the deep end when you're ready, and you build that confidence. So don't be surprised. You will get a call about being an officer.
Excuse me, Karen, may
Yes.
I just say this and throw it out there? I am Division M director this year. So it's going to be very difficult for me to be an officer at any club this term. And even though my heart may be there, my mind and my capabilities, I cannot do it. And I do apologize to the club, but I accepted that position as division director.
We are so happy to have somebody as division directors. Again, you know, division directors, they have some responsibility, but how much thanks do they get? Do you get some thank yous every day, Hessie?
No.
Nope, you don't.
I was
But
interviewing.
we want to give you that appreciation right now that you
Thank
stepped
you.
up to become a district officer. So thank you for that, Hessie. And
Thank you.
I know that even though you may be a little tied up to not be able to be an officer of this club, but you will be available to support and answer any questions
Yes.
that anybody in this club has, and you'll point us to resources if we need that.
Yes, no pay now. I just want for the future area and division directors know that there's no pay.
I
But
like
we
to say
work hard.
I like to say you get double the pay that you get at the club level.
You get paid in your spirit
Right.
and the experiences, and I think it changes your heart because real quickly, I was at a restaurant yesterday and I got some food. First time at the place, will not be going back. But I asked the lady, I said, is the food good? You know, is this my first time here? And I want to get blah, 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 blah. And she was just nasty. And so the lady in front of me turned and looked at me and was giving me the eye signal, like, you know, what have you. And she was waiting for me to say something. And what I said was, everybody has a story. And so the lady stopped and she looked at me and then she nodded her head. But she had to she had to evaluate what I had said for that quick second. And I thought, another years back, another no Toastmaster experience, I might have asked her, what's going on? Because I'm giving you my money. But I didn't say anything to her. And as I said to the person who wanted to have a conversation, you know, I just said, everybody has a story. And I think, you know, making it short,
Well, it's really short when you put yourself on mute, Hessie.
I was look, I don't mean no harm, but I don't feel too good. I feel a little something coming on. This house can't get warm for me. But anyway, I was just saying, I really think my Toastmaster experience for bringing me to that level of thinking. Because when I walked out of there, I said, I'm not coming back here, blah, 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 blah. But I was pleased that I had not responded to her, but I had responded to the other lady that really wanted to initiate a conversation. And if I had not been a Toastmaster, and because Toastmaster changes your heart, I tell everybody that it educates you, increases your vocabulary, but it makes your personality rechange and refocus on how you look at situations. And I attribute that to my Toastmaster experience of being kind.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I just want to tell a 10-second story. I went to a restaurant and asked the waitress what's good on the menu, and she was standing there with her little, you know, pad that they had. She just looked at me and went like this. Nothing. Nothing was good. Okay, one last thing that I want to cover is that we talked about having a speechathon. We talked about having a speechathon because we were really trying to push to get multiple level 1 awards completed before the end of the year. Since we have myself and Jelena, either one of us, maybe both of us, can put our level 4, level 5 completion award in for this year, I'm going to suggest that we do our speechathon in the new club year starting in July. And with that, that will give us a boost. Once again, let me share that screen. So starting in July, this whole DCP plan is going to be reset back to 0 for the check marks. So if we can get our people who are right there to right on the brink of completing their level 1, and we can get 4 people to finish their level 1 awards, then that will give us a checkpoint for the next club year. So that's what I'm thinking that we could do, is have our speechathon to kick off our club year in July, maybe in August. Let's talk about what would be the good timing of that. I know summers are very busy and people are not necessarily available. So what are your thoughts about having a speechathon in the summer months? Is that something that you're interested in, or something that you'd rather not do during the busy summer? Thoughts?
I have a thought, Toastmaster Baird. More so, this thought is a question. And the question is, how long or what is the duration of the speechathon?
For one meeting, we would have people everybody complete 1 or 2 speeches in that meeting. So within that hour meeting, we'll have as many speeches as possible. And then those people will receive their evaluations by email afterwards. So we won't take time to do evaluations during the meeting unless it's an icebreaker. If it's an icebreaker, then they would go. We don't want somebody to miss their opportunity to have feedback on their icebreaker.
And when the metrics all reset, does that reset members of Toastmasters to have to complete their level 1s again?
You only have to complete your level 1 time during your path. So once you complete level 1, you move on to level 2, and then you have to complete level 2. I stopped sharing my screen, but we need 4 people to complete a level 1 in order to get a check mark. We need 2 people to complete a level 2. Why do you suppose that is? Because a lot of times people get through level 1 and then bye-bye. You know, they're happy that they completed their level 1, but they don't move on. So we need 4 people to complete level 1, but we're almost there. We need 2 people to complete a level 2 in order to get a check mark. I don't know if I'm answering your question though. Am I answering your question? That does not reset. You don't have to redo level 1s. Once you complete a level, you're done, and then you move forward to the next level in your path, and hopefully move all the way up to level completion of level 5 to complete the path.
Yes,
Okay.
I believe your answer does answer my question.
Any other questions? Any other thoughts about having a speechathon or timing of having a speechathon? Rika, any thoughts on that? You're on mute, dear.
Yeah, so it sounds like we can have as many, you know, at least 1 or 2 and more.
Mm-hmm.
And these would be, for example, I need to do 1 more and I'll get that going.
Okay, yeah, you could do your level 1 completion and then do another speech in the same meeting to get started on level 2.
Okay.
If you could do that, then you know, you'd already have an extra leg up to start the year. So I
Okay.
think that's motivational to get a running start.
Yes.
Jelena?
Yeah, so one of my level 1, I would like to do the speech extravaganza or whatever that you're talking about. I think that'd be really cool. And it would give us a lot of experience, and it would encourage people to do their speeches, because sometimes it's hard to sign up. I am close to level 1. I was wondering, since I got such good feedback on this speech that I just gave, could I give it again and use that as I have one part of my level 1 is to do the speech again with an evaluation in mind.
Mhm.
Could that count, or is it because this is counting toward
Well, I
my
think-
speech with a purpose?
I think that would work, but let me double check. I'll talk to the club coach and see.
May I give you a suggestion? Redo that speech. Take your
Okay.
closing and make it your opening. Switch it around. Add 1 and 2 for your resources. So you're saying 1 this, 2 that, 3. Then you're saying in closing, finalize the results 1, 2, and 3. You got the same speech, but you made it new.
Very good.
Okay. Theo, any thoughts or comments on a speechathon?
I think it would be great. If we're starting in July, that tends to be a little bit slower time for me, work-wise. So I think that would be
Okay.
great. So yeah,
Okay, so July works for you then versus being
Yeah.
too busy in the summer. You actually have more time to devote. Okay, great. Then let's target that we'll do that in July. Thanks, Jeremy. We're 3 minutes overdue. We started 3 minutes late. Let us adjourn the meeting. Thank you all, and I'll be contacting you about roles for next meeting as well. Meeting adjourned.